Shadows of Justice, The Final Showdown, written by Reuben White. In the twilight of Bandera, Texas, the sun painted the sky in shades of crimson, a portent of the reckoning to come. Bruce Grady, a man who had danced with danger and stared into the abyss, now sought solace in the embrace of his family. Yet, peace eluded him like a fleeting dream, for the specter of corruption still haunted the land. As the wind whispered secrets through the oak trees, Bruce's old friend, Tom, emerged from the shadows, his presence a harbinger of turmoil. Clad in worn leather and the dust of the trail, Tom bore news of unrest in San Antonio, where the stench of corruption hung heavy in the air like a foul miasma. "I left that life behind, Tom," Bruce declared, his voice a low rumble like distant thunder. "I've hung up my badge and gun. I seek only peace now." But Tom's eyes held the fire of conviction, a flame that refused to be extinguished. "Peace is a luxury we can ill afford, Bruce. The reformers roam the land like wolves, preying on the innocent. They need a reckoning, and you're the only man who can deliver it." The reformers, a name whispered in fear, a shadow that darkened the doorstep of every honest soul. They were a blight on the land, a plague that threatened to consume all in its path. But Bruce knew that to defeat them, he would have to confront the demons of his past and embrace the darkness within. As dusk descended upon Bandera, Bruce and his kin stood at the crossroads, their resolve tested by the looming threat. The reformers approached a thunderous horde of riders, their laughter a chilling echo in the gathering gloom. "We're outnumbered," Bruce's brother murmured, his voice edged with doubt. Bruce's gaze swept over his family, his eyes alight with determination. "Then we'll fight with everything we've got. For justice. For peace." The clash was inevitable, a collision of wills that echoed through the canyons like a gunshot in the night. The air crackled with tension as bullets flew and bodies fell, each life a precious coin tossed into the void. Amidst the chaos, Bruce stood like a sentinel, his heart a steady drumbeat beneath his chest. He fought with the skill of a gunslinger, each shot a testament to his resolve. But the reformers were a force of nature, relentless in their pursuit of chaos. As the battle raged on, the line between friend and foe blurred like the shifting sands of time. Men fell on both sides, their blood mingling with the dust of the earth. But still, Bruce and his kin stood firm, their spirits unbroken by the storm. And then, as suddenly as it had begun, the tide turned. With a final, desperate charge, Bruce and his allies broke the reformers' ranks, their victory a beacon of hope in the darkness. But the price of victory was steep, paid in blood and sacrifice. As the dust settled and the echoes of battle faded into the night, Bruce surveyed the aftermath with a heavy heart. For in the reckoning of reformers, there were no winners, only survivors. And so, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the shadows lengthened across the land, Bruce Grady knew that his fight was far from over. For in the heart of every man, there lurked the shadow of justice, waiting to be unleashed. With the echoes of gunfire still ringing in his ears, Bruce Grady knew that the victory over the reformers was but a small battle in a much larger war. As he stood amidst the wreckage of the conflict, the weight of responsibility bore down on him like a heavy yoke. The town of Bandera may have been spared for now, but the threat of El Diablo loomed large on the horizon, casting a long shadow over the land. Bruce could feel the tendrils of darkness creeping ever closer, threatening to engulf everything he held dear. Gathering his wits and steeling his resolve, Bruce knew that he could not face this new threat alone. He would need allies, men and women of courage and conviction who were willing to stand by his side in the face of overwhelming odds. Turning to his brothers in arms, Bruce spoke with a voice as steady as the beating of his heart. "We've won a battle, but the war is far from over. El Diablo is out there, waiting in the shadows, and we cannot afford to underestimate him." His words struck a chord with those gathered around him, their eyes reflecting a mixture of fear and determination. They knew that the road ahead would be fraught with danger, but they also knew that they could not turn away from the challenge. As the first light of dawn broke over the horizon, Bruce and his allies set out on a quest to confront the menace of El Diablo head-on. Their journey would take them across rugged terrain and through darkened alleys, as they followed the trail of destruction left in the wake of the notorious outlaw. Along the way, they encountered friends and foes alike, each with their motives and agendas. Some offered aid and support, while others sought to hinder their progress at every turn. But Bruce and his companions pressed on, their determination unshakable, their spirits unbroken. Finally, after days of relentless pursuit, they reached the outskirts of a small, dusty town, where rumors of El Diablo's whereabouts had led them. The air crackled with tension as they prepared to confront their enemy, knowing that the outcome of their encounter would determine the fate of all who dwelled in the shadow of justice. With weapons drawn and hearts pounding, Bruce and his allies ventured into the heart of the town, ready to face whatever dangers awaited them. For they knew that the only way to defeat the darkness was to confront it head-on, with courage, conviction, and an unyielding determination to see justice done. As they moved through the streets, their senses on high alert, they could feel the presence of El Diablo looming ever closer, like a storm gathering on the horizon. And as they rounded a corner and came face to face with their adversary, they knew that the final reckoning was at hand. With a fierce battle cry, Bruce and his allies charged into the fray, their weapons flashing in the sunlight as they clashed with El Diablo and his gang of desperados. The air was thick with the sound of gunfire and the cries of the wounded, but still, they fought on, driven by a burning desire to see justice served. And then, in a moment that seemed to stretch on for eternity, Bruce and El Diablo stood face to face, their eyes locked in a silent battle of wills. In that instant, Bruce knew that he held the fate of the town in his hands and that he alone had the power to vanquish the darkness and bring hope to those who had been oppressed for too long. With a steely resolve, Bruce raised his weapon and aimed at his enemy, knowing that this would be the showdown, the ultimate test of his strength and courage. And as the echoes of gunfire faded into the distance and the dust settled over the town, Bruce Grady emerged victorious, a beacon of hope in a world shrouded in darkness. For in the end, it was not the strength of his weapons or the skill of his aim that ensured his victory, but the power of his conviction and the strength of his spirit. As he stood amidst the ruins of the battle, his heart filled with a sense of peace and fulfillment, knowing that he had done what was right and just and that the shadows of justice would never be vanquished as long as men and women were willing to fight for what was true and good. If you are enjoying adventures in the Old West, feel free to subscribe to this channel for future posts.